Hello and welcome back to Logan Sounds Off. Today I'm going to be reviewing Live in Dublin by Lankum, which was a live performance performed in Vicar Street on the 31st of May 2023. For anybody who doesn't know about this album, this was released on vinyl, also released on streaming with extra tracks on streaming. There's only 6 on the vinyl edition. I got for my birthday a gold copy of the record, which I'm super happy with and I love listening to. It's a beautiful pressing, and this is actually signed by Dara, who I met at Merchy Christmas. So that's really, really cool. A little bit of a smudge on it, unfortunately, but it was a very busy day, so I wasn't being careful. Stupid mistake on my part, but look, I regret it every day, folks. So, starting off, I just want to say, beautiful presentation of this record with I love on the back. It says, and has a clip from Inferno by Dante, soon you will be where your own eyes will see the source and cause and give you their own answer to the mystery. It's a handful. I'm going to read it again. Soon you will be where your own eyes will see the source and cause and give you their answer to the mystery. Interesting. Do they mean soon because you're about to listen to the album soon? Soon you're about to discover the source and the cause? Because if an album is giving you that, you know it's good. Or is this listening to this album and getting into the feeling of the record? I don't know, but it's an interesting message. Nonetheless, if you don't know, I have actually reviewed Lankum here on the channel before. I reviewed False Lankum, which was one of my favourite studio albums in kind of the trad world at the time and still today. Especially, that's kind of like a doom folk trad drone record. It's really, really interesting. Produced by the one and only John Spud Murphy, who also was on sound on this particular night, along with Lights, which is Emmett O'Donnell, at Vicar Street. But False Lankum is a great album to review, and I loved that record. And from that, I interviewed Rady Pete and Dara Lynch, who I got to meet Dara at Merchy Christmas. I got to meet part of the band at Merchy Christmas, which is really, really cool. And Rady, I got to interview, and we had 2 conversations up. The first one was just the original conversation, and then the second was the kind of outtakes part, which is also incredibly good. So you should check those out. Links will be down below. But getting into the album, we're going to start off with The Wild Rover, which, as an opening track, is a beautiful song to start with from The Livelong Day. That is the opening track on that album, and also the opening track here. The guitar is fantastic on this track, and I think the way the bass comes in and the whole drone of it and the impact that it makes progressively over time, I think is incredible. And the way the lyricism is portrayed with Rady's beautiful voice really ties this track up to be such a cinematic and an amazing story overall that I just think is beautiful and really adds, it really complements Lankum's diversity of performances, whether it's something like Bear Creek, which is also on this, which is very, very jolly, or, well, jolly, I say it's jolly to an extent. I mean, it's quite happy in comparison to some of the other tracks that we'll be discussing, as in just the kind of swing to it, where you have something like Go Dig My Grave, which is very dark, but also beautiful at the same time. There's that dark beauty to it. And by the way, if you want to listen to me like review Fugue or Go Dig My Grave, I hope I'm pronounced that right. If I pronounce Fugue wrong, again, look, 13, that's my excuse. I'm 13. So anyways, if you want to hear me review those specific tracks, check out the False Lankum review, which will be down below. I hope I said False Lankum earlier and not something I messed it up. When I was False Lankum, check out the review down below. So The Wild Rover then is a fantastic introduction, and I think complements the diversity of Lankum's range of musicianship. A bit of a handful. Not as much as Dante, but a bit of a handful. Again, another probably mispronunciation. Then we have The Rocky Road to Dublin, which did not appear, I don't believe, on any other records. Correct me if I'm wrong here, fellow Lankum fans. I don't believe this appeared on any other records, but this is a beautiful cut. Anyways, let's just move on from the fact that there could be a studio version. I did see this live after I had listened to it on streaming, this particular record, then was given the vinyl. About maybe 2 months ago, I discovered there are performances of this on the internet. And not just like bootlegs, but I mean actual things that were done in sessions and stuff that Lankum were there, which is really, really interesting. But this is a fantastic sound to it. And the drone of it, it's a fantastic cover. It really, you feel it in your chest, and the vocal harmony, it's so powerful. The voices really lock together and just make this fantastic sound. Which then, when we have The Rocky Road to Dublin, which is one of the most beautiful tracks I've ever heard in my life, that runs into The Pride of Petrovor. Again, probably another mispronunciation. I'm on a roll here, guys. Which has such an intensity and darkness and beauty to it. It's really just building the whole time. And it just is quite enchanting. And then I believe there's a snippet. I actually don't know what the exact track is called. I'm a disgrace. But there is a certain snippet that, for lack of the actual term, I'm going to say is We Work the Black Scene at the end, which is about, to vaguely summarize it in the most disrespectful way possibly, nuclear waste, and the way that clean energy, will impact the environment in the end, in nuclear bombs, weapons that we can't control, and the waste from that, and how it's going to eventually affect the environment in the long term, and how we can't control these weapons and these different things, which I think is just a very interesting reflection to add to this track. And that closes off side 3, where we listen to a specific dialogue. I'm not going to say it. You should buy the record if you want to hear it. I'm not going to spoil you. I'm going to be that guy. I won't tell you what they say. But they have a very funny snippet until they come to saying we're going to have to use some intense magic to... Oh, actually, no. They have... not this. That isn't the funny dialogue. The funny dialogue is after Go Dig My Grave, which I'll explain towards the end. But they basically say we're going to need some more intense powers to open this rift. And that's when the side ends, which is just like, oh God. And you know Go Dig My Grave is coming, and you're just bracing for this intensity. And Rady's beautiful voice pierces the crackle of the vinyl, and you just hear this kind of ambience coming in from these beautiful instruments and Rady's amazing voice, which builds to this spectacular drone of pain, but also the remembrance of love and the effect that it had on this particular character in the track, and the whole building of emotion and the progressive aspect of this track that allows it to envelop you and really take over. And then we have some dialogue which is talking about it's great to go behind the curtain. I would have loved to see a film of this, actually, if there was a film recorded of this that you could have seen, as well as bought the record. I guess that would have been monetizing on a gig a little bit too much, I guess. But I'm not all about the money, guys. I'm not thinking in that aspect. I was just thinking I'd love to see that kind of going behind the curtain. But as correctly said, this is where the panto begins, as part of the dialogue. And that's where you hear people saying very funny stuff. And it's a very funny, different part. And then I believe that's in and around that part of the record. It's hard to know. But then we have the 2 last tracks on the vinyl which merge together. So I'm going to talk about them as merged together. Fugue and Bear Creek. Which we start off with Fugue, this ambience, this overwhelming kind of tone that washes over you, which continues into Bear Creek, which progressively starts to speed up into this fantastic track that's so lively and so vibrant and so nearly physical. You can really see it in front of you. You can feel this track. It's so it's nearly the opposite of abrasive. It's more impactful. It's so beautiful, yet it's so it washes over you so quickly. It really does make such an impact towards the end of the record, and that's why I think it's such a great closer. And I think actually the way that this album was arranged track by track was done spectacularly. And overall, rating this as a performance, if I had to pay 50 quid, 60 quid, 100 quid to see this performance live, I would. Because Lankum are one of the greatest bands I've ever heard. They make some of the greatest music that I've ever heard, and that has ever made the biggest impact on me. their music always manages to evoke emotion and feeling inside of me, and that's why I think this is a strong 5 out of 5 stars. Don't even bother listening to streaming, guys. There's no point. Just buy it. Don't listen to it on a streaming service where you won't get the exact quality you want. At least if you're going to listen to it, download a high quality version off their Bandcamp. Support the artists, guys. Please support the artists. Or do what I did. Try and grab a pressing. Or if it's sold out everywhere you look, you probably haven't looked hard enough. But even if it is sold out on everything you look at, you can always try Discogs. Just any way you can, guys. Obviously, that's legal. Try and get a copy. It's a really, really great album. And I hope you enjoyed not only listening to the album if you're also a Lankum fan, but this review. I worked really hard to make sure I gave the best opinion that I could on a fantastic record that I've known so well. So I wanted to give you as much insight and the best insight that I could into this record without giving too much away so that you'd want to go out and buy the record. So support your local record shops, support on Bandcamp, try and find a way to get this record, guys. Again, legally. Don't do anything dangerous to get this album. But do try and get your hands on the record. Links will be down below to all their Bandcamp, website, everything. Check it out. And if you do have this on vinyl, consider purchasing the rest of their discography. Or maybe check out my interviews with them. They were really, really fascinating and lovely people to chat to, and we had a beautiful conversation. So you should check that out, along with the bonus outtakes as well, which is as well a fantastic conversation, as well as my review of False Lankum. There's a lot there, guys, so enjoy it. Luckily, you've got a week before it's the next album review, so you have time to maybe delve into the catalogue of Lankum. Also, if you're floating about checking out a Bandcamp, maybe check out my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of which linked down below. Please do follow for future updates on whether I'm doing a review this week or an interview, or also if I'm doing some 60-second reviews. So check that out. And as always, guys, for all those who follow and subscribe and like and share and comment, you are appreciated. You keep these amazing interviews coming, and it really is so supportive. So thank you so much for watching the video. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe, or follow if you're listening on podcast platforms. And thank you so much. Goodbye.